The Leviathan. In the Bible, the Leviathan is described as a massive sea creature created by God. This fascinating creature is mentioned in several books of the Bible, including Job, Psalms, and Isaiah. Additionally, the Leviathan appears in various stories and legends from different cultures around the world. According to the description, the Leviathan resides in a vast, endless sea, constantly moving through the deep waters. The Book of Job fully describes the Leviathan as a massive sea creature with terrifying teeth, describing it as a fearsome predator. Smoke comes out of his nostrils, it has glowing and sparkling eyes, fire erupting from its mouth, it has a heart stronger than stone, and no weapon can harm him. The Leviathan is found in the depths of the sea, where its calm waters reside. According to the Book of Job, it is said that only God Himself has the power to protect and destroy this mighty creature. One of the most fascinating and significant Bible stories about the Leviathan is the story of Jonah the prophet, which we will discuss later. The Leviathan was first mentioned in the book of Genesis. On the fifth day after the creation of the world, God created the birds and the various species of fish in the sea, including the mighty big crocodiles. So God created the great creatures of the sea and every living thing with which the water teems and that moves about in it, according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. Genesis 1 verse 21. According to the commentary, this verse explains that the big crocodiles are metaphorically referred to as big fish in the sea, and according to legend, they are compared to a leviathan. On many occasions, two other legendary creatures have been mentioned jointly to the leviathan: Behemoth, the powerful land-dwelling animal, and Ziz, the bird that reigns over the sky. This trinity of leviathans, and the rest of the beasts, symbolizes the immense power and prowess of God. He created these magnificent creatures, and God is the only one capable of their complete submission. The descriptions of God with the Leviathan highlight God's infinite abilities, including the power to hunt the Leviathan. In the book of Isaiah, Isaiah prophesies the ultimate defeat of the Leviathan by God. In that day the Lord with his sore and great and strong sword shall punish Leviathan the piercing serpent, even Leviathan that crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea. Isaiah 27 verse 1. This prophecy signifies that the destruction of Leviathan symbolizes God's ultimate triumph over the chaotic and destructive forces in the world. The description of Leviathan is mentioned in other parts of the Bible as well, including the book of Job, the Psalms, and Jonah. It was you who crushed the heads of Leviathan and gave it as food to the creatures of the desert. Psalm 74 verse 14. How many are your works, Lord? In wisdom you made them all, the earth is full of your creatures. There is the sea, vast and spacious, teeming with creatures beyond number, living things both large and small. There the ships go to and fro, and Leviathan, which you formed to frolic there. Psalm 104 verses 24 to 26. Behold, that night will be a storm, don't let it resonate with him. They will be locked up for a day, the futures are a Leviathan. Job 3 verses 7 to 8. Can you pull in Leviathan with a fishhook or tie down its tongue with a rope? Job 41 verse 1. Jonah, the prophet, lived during the reign of King Jeroboam II in the 8th century BC. The story of Jonah is often seen as a lesson in compassion and trust in God. However, some believe that there is a deeper meaning behind his journey. Go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it, because its wickedness has come up before me. Jonah 1 verse 2. To convey the message of their wrongdoing in the eyes of God, Jonah, in an unusual way for prophets, is hesitant to carry out this mission. He refuses and runs away. Instead, he attempts to flee westward to Tarshish on a ship departing from the port of Jaffa. Suddenly, a great storm arose, risking the ship. The sailors threw their cargo into the sea to save the ship. However, the sea grew rougher, prompting them to search for the culprit responsible for angering God and causing the terrible storm. Jonah admits, in response to their questions, that he is guilty because he is afraid of God and is running away from him. He answered, "I am a Hebrew and I worship the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land." Jonah 1 verse 9. Bravely offers the sailors to throw him into the sea. Then they took Jonah and threw him overboard, and the raging sea grew calm. Jonah 1 verse 15. When they realized that there was no choice but to throw Jonah into the water, they saw that as long as Jonah was in the water, the storm calmed down. In order to save Jonah, God sent a fish to swallow him. Now the Lord provided a huge fish to swallow Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. Jonah 1 verse 17. In the water, Jonah was swallowed by the Leviathan and remained inside for 3 days and nights. In the belly of the Leviathan, Jonah turned to God with a plea for forgiveness, and God forgave him and rescued him from the Leviathan. However, God then asked Jonah to go again and fulfill his request. Jonah, who agrees, returns to the land, obeys, and goes to Nineveh. He calls them to repent, and both the king and the citizens accept the prophet's call. They cease their sins, fast, and pray to God. Jonah was saved by God because he took responsibility for the lives of others, specifically the sailors on the ship. He refuses God because he fears for his own life on the mission to Nineveh. However, he is willing to sacrifice his own life because he fears for the lives of the innocent. The principle of loving your others as yourself applies in 2 directions: loving others as you love yourself, and loving yourself as you love others. We should love ourselves just as we love others. We should understand that every person has an evil instinct, but also realize that it can be overcome. By isolating ourselves from this evil instinct, we take away its power. Let us love the environment and our acquaintances as we love ourselves. Jonah demonstrates his integrity by keeping his word outwardly when he saves the life of the sailors on the ship, and then inwardly by admitting his mistake and being ready to take responsibility. When Jonah takes responsibility, everything falls into place. The Leviathan releases him, and he quickly finds his way back to the safe shore. As soon as Jonah refused to take responsibility and attempted to avoid it, he found himself in a wild sea, inside the belly of the Leviathan, far from solid ground. The concept of Jonah's resurrection from the watery grave gained numerous believers and resonated deeply in Jewish thought and traditions. In fact, in Jerusalem, coffins were discovered featuring an inscription of Jonah's name and a rough drawing depicting him emerging from the mouth of the Leviathan. We hope you learned something new today. If you did, give this video a like and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more informative and entertaining content. See you next time.